If your brand belongs in the heart of the yachting world, this is where it happens. Yachting International Radio reaches over 1 million yachting professionals and enthusiasts every month, with 77 million impressions, 220,000 social followers, and 74,000 podcast subscribers. Our hosts are insiders, crew, captains, CEOs, trusted voices shaping the industry. This is targeted, high-impact advertising in a luxury niche. Visit yachtinginternationalradio.com/advertise. Your audience is already listening.
Top of the morning, afternoon, or evening, folks. Captain Liam here, Muddy and Bridled. I'm blessed today. This is an exciting way to spend a day, having a conversation with Kelli and Sarah from Above Deck Podcast. How are you two both?
Great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. We're excited about this.
And starting with you, Kelli, whereabouts are you at the moment?
I am in Columbus, Ohio. It's about 30 degrees. And it's 30 degrees, but the snow has all melted, so that's a good thing.
Okay. And what about you, Sarah? Whereabouts are you?
I'm in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, heaven. That's a little bit of paradise, isn't it?
It is very hot in the summer, but otherwise pretty great place to live.
Yeah, well, I'm a typical yacht gypsy here. I'm always on the move, you know?
Yeah, you're originally from Byron Bay, right?
Yes, yeah.
That's one of my favorite towns anywhere.
Oh, it's special.
Yeah, it's very special.
Yeah, I'm from the ocean in a sense that in Byron Bay is where the north and south currents of Australia meet. So at different times of the year, you get different upwellings, which basically means different species of fish. So like in the winter, you get these sharks, these strong, big nurse sharks and different forms of pelagics. And then all of a sudden the summer comes, which is now, and they get a lot more coral fish that come down and kind of different species. And it's just cool. The turtles come in and it's a special world there.
That is so cool.
So cool. That's the first place I think I ever saw clownfish was diving there. It's like super exciting. What's the name of that like rock pinnacle that sits right off the...
Julian's Rocks.
Julian's Rock. That was very cool. I felt like a Navy SEAL. Kelli, you board like a Zodiac, like the inflatables, and then you go from the beach out there and then you'd get to do a backwards roll into the water. So that was the first time I ever did that. And I was like,
well,
I'm badass.
This takes me back because that was my first job. At the age of 14, my parents have restaurants. That's how I got into hospitality. But at the age of 14, I did work experience at a place called Sundive, which owns 2 of those tenders and Zodiacs. And I'd clean wetsuits. And then next weekend, they'd give me I'd work for a pair of fins. And then I'd work over summer for a mask. And then I'd do a dive course and I'd clean boats and propellers. And eventually, by the time I was 18, I sat my dive instructor's qualification test the day I turned 18 because that's
nice.
Could do it. And I became the youngest PADI dive instructor in Australia.
Oh, wow.
On my 18th birthday. I think you can't get any younger, you know?
That is so cool.
I don't know.
Fun.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That Julian Rocks takes me way back and those Zodiacs. And from then on, I just went diving, fishing, traveling the world. And these magic things called super yachts came into my life. And they kept taking me in places with a lot of luxury.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That is so crazy. So cool.
Beginning, what inspired you about the Above Deck? Because that's what I'm interested in. I think it's fascinating what you do.
Kelli, do you want to tell our origin story?
Sure. So a few years ago, Sarah and I were roommates in college, and we did a radio show together, and it was called Socks with Sandals, and we had a really great time. And then life happens, and she was on research vessels trying to get manta rays to follow her, and I was working in radio here in Columbus. And then about almost 4 years ago now, I got a text from Sarah saying, "Hey, you want to do a podcast?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's do this. What are we going to do it about?" And she said, "How about a TV show from Bravo?" I said, "Great. Which one?" And she said, "Below Deck." And I thought that was perfect for multiple reasons. One, the season was getting ready to start for Sailing Out. But 2, Sarah's background in marine biology just gave us that extra edge on knowing a little bit more about what's going on and like the areas they're going to be in and stuff. So we had I love that we have that little spin on our show. But yeah, and 250 episodes later and almost 4 years, here we are.
Well, you're shining. You're both radiating, and I watch them. I listen to them, and I see the kind of the different Bravo events that happen, and I'm like, it's an exciting world.
Yeah, yeah.
As a super yacht captain, it's kind of like every guest that we have on board asks about it. And everyone I see on the weekends, what are you going to do over Christmas? Binge Below Decks. I'm like, yeah, hooked. Everyone's hooked. So what about you, Sarah? We talked about research vessels, and what type of research vessels? Because that's really one of my passions, is the maritime sustainability.
Oh, sure. So when I went to college in Ohio, where Kelly and I met, so not a lot of marine biology happening in a landlocked state. But my first job was at Biscayne National Park in South Florida. So I was kind of like a research assistant, and that's where I learned how to drive a boat, learned how to trailer a boat. Did water quality, sea turtle nest monitoring, and that kind of stuff. And then everything was kind of like a seasonal position, which was great because you got 3 or 4 months of training and then you moved on to the next thing. So from there, then I moved down to Key Largo and I worked with the group Reef Environmental Education Foundation. So they teach recreational snorkelers and divers how to identify fish. And it's the largest volunteer reef fish survey, I think, in the world, probably. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people underwater doing surveys and reporting back. So I worked with them, and that was kind of an educational aspect. And then from there, I got a dream job in Hawaii on the Big Island, where I was tracking manta rays and living on, I guess it was a 33-foot boat, a very, very old research vessel for NOAA, and worked with a PhD student who was tracking and tagging manta rays, and that was super fun. And then from there I was like, okay, what's my plan? So then I went back home for a few months, studied for the GRE so I could go to get my master's, and then I got my master's at College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina, and I've been here ever since. So now 20 some years later. And then I guess my main job was I worked at South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. So I did a lot of our reef fish survey, I guess is what it's called now. We covered the coastline, 20 to 100 miles offshore of Charleston, from Florida to North Carolina. So basically Cape Hatteras, North Carolina to, I don't know, midway down the Florida coast. So we basically would trap fish, kill a lot of fish. That was not fun. But we would take the otoliths out of the ear. It's a little ear bone that has rings on it, so you can age it like a tree, basically. So we would age the fish. And then there was a whole group of people that did reproductive studies. I did diet content analysis. So basically just looking in the fish's stomach, see what they eat, and you can kind of figure out the food web from there. That's what I did. Oh, yeah. Very gross. Disgusting job.
I love it. Yeah. Sorry, Kelly. We're kind of going down a research path.
No, I love it. I love hearing about that because, there's just so much more than that beautiful, gorgeous, different shades of blue water. And I'm scared of everything that's in that beautiful, gorgeous, different shades of blue water. So I appreciate those who... I just want to look at it, and I appreciate those who do the work and can tell us, what's going on out there. So...
Yeah, we do a lot of research on Modion Umbrella, the vessel on the moment in Alaska, whales. We did shark tagging with seakeepers in Costa Rica. But quickly, how do you tag a manta ray? How do you track a manta ray? So I've dived with a lot.
I know the answer to this. Sarah becomes chum to try and...
That's right. Yeah, we would hang off the back of the boat, with a mask and snorkel, and the PhD student, he'd be driving the boat, and then we'd just be looking. And since manta rays, they have a certain pattern, and in Hawaii, they kind of stick to the coastline. And so during the day, they're going to these cleaning stations where little fish come and clean parasites off of them. And so they have a kind of a specific pattern. So we'd go to these specific sites and look for them, and then when I'd see one, I'd be like, hey, hey, there's one. And then I'd get back on board. He would gear up. He would get in with a little spear gun with a tag on it, stick them, and then we had a hydrophone, and we would then track them by listening to the ping noise for as long as we could, hopefully up to 7 days or so.
Oh wow, because they move fast. Incredible species. I've dived with them quite a lot over.
Oh, so beautiful.
Oh, they're stunning. Anyway, but the thing about you talk about different shades of blue. And I'm going into what attracts people to the maritime world. And I think what creates this emotional tension and this excitement that is Below Decks and kind of your podcast is that we don't know what's beneath it and everyone's a little bit afraid. So that creates an undertone of tension. Plus, then you put a big white boat on top of it.
Right. Right. It's beautiful.
Standard, and then you break into the kind of the culture of the crew and the dynamics between crew and guests, and you bring some reality TV into it. It's an amazing recipe for success.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Why do you, from your perspective, why do you think so many people are passionate about Below Decks?
What do you think?
I think it's kind of it's a mix, right? So a lot of us, at least in the States, I didn't know that was an opportunity for a career path. Like, you know, so, I mean, that's something new and different. It's these beautiful places that we've never been to. But I think what's really neat, at least in my perspective, these are people's jobs. And they're people who are coming onto these boats who have jobs that we do not know what allows them to be on that boat, but we appreciate that they can so that we can live vicariously through them. And I think that's the big thing. We're living vicariously through them. It's not like the Housewives where people are just like, let's just fight to fight. Like this is, they are hustling, they are busting their humps and making an extremely amazing opportunity for people. And we just get to be like little, you know, flies on the wall watching it. I just think that's so cool.
Yeah, it has the whole like upstairs, downstairs, you know, you see what's going on with the staff and then you see what's going on with the guests. So that's always super fun.
Yeah, it's a bit of an insight into yachting. Like people, you know, clients and owners and you know, people say, what's it like? What's the difference? I said, it all happens. Like this is my answer, honestly. You know, people mightn't like it, but I don't mind. I'm a very transparent person, but it all happens in yachting. All of it happens. It just probably doesn't happen in that short time frame.
Right.
You're putting so much pressure on that environment that these things are going to happen too. So by adding a TV camera to it, it just expedites the kind of stress levels. So the reality comes quicker. Where, if any, do you see any differences between yachting and Below Decks as a series? Out of interest?
I mean, what we've heard from below deck people who work still in the yachting industry is like what you said. It's like pretty much the same, but a lot of times I think the charters are a lot longer in the real yachting world. I mean, it's not like a 2-day or a 3-day thing. And I mean, obviously the below deck boats, they're working like a charter boat, right? So they're like cranking out a different group every charter. And so that's maybe if you work on a private boat, that's not necessarily, you know, how it would be, but I think it's very similar.
I agree. The image is the same. Like guests show up, walk down the dock. So I believe a lot of similarities. I think it's exciting. Do you think most of the audience are more attracted about the crew or the guests? Where do you think most of the attention is taken to?
I think the crew, don't you, Kelly?
Yeah, I do too.
I think the crew, but I love an unhinged guest. Like I love a crazy guest.
Oh, really? Well, we have those as well. Don't you worry about that.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So it's a good take on it. And do you have kind of favorite crew?
Oh, for sure.
Like asking if we have favorite kids, but yes, we do.
Who are your favorites, Kelly?
Well, I always love Aisha. Like if you know, current crew right now, Aisha. I do love a good chef. I mean, Chef Cloyce he's a friend of the show, and he's super fun. We spent a lot of time with him at BravoCon, and that was a lot of fun. And then the captains, it's really hard to pick a captain because I love them all for different reasons. Yeah. But we have Captain Dreamboat, and he will forever be my favorite. So that's Captain Jason.
Yeah, Captain. Yeah, Captain Kerry's amazing. I think he's
he's so great.
Both on camera, I think he's just a real special person.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's definitely a good friend of ours. And yeah, I love them all. I love anybody who is just authentically themselves. They're the same on the show as they are in person, and they don't change season to season. Like because some people, they get on season 1, they're one way and they have a great first season, and then they come back for season 2 and now they've watched themselves. Now they're producing themselves and now they maybe act a little differently. But people that don't, like Daisy, Frasier, Aisha, like any of these kind of long-term people, they just are who they are. And that's the way to be, I think, on the show.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And that's the authenticity of yachting. And that's what the clients kind of look for too. They're not looking for people to not be themselves. They're looking for a high level of service and standard.
Yeah.
But also looking for engagement. And I think that's where yachting's a little bit different to going to a hotel service or a fine dining restaurant. Is you're with these people for 3 to 4 to 7 to 10 to, I've done 30-day charters and you're with them a long time. So it's, I did one trip which was from Boston all the way around to Seattle and Vancouver. That was one client, one owner wanted to do the Northwest Passage. So the north of Canada, we took a yacht all the way, Greenland, Northern Arctic, Bering Sea and back down. And that's 3 months with people. Crew and...
I'm guessing that's a summer trip.
It's a summer trip, dodging the ice and, things like that. But it's, the point is you kind of get on these islands, on these boats. It's like a picture of emotions and you've got to go through the highs and the lows to get a result out. So I can kind of resonate with it, what the crew go through. And you do evolve over the seasons you work in yachting. Yeah. Sometimes you would have seen different crew get elevated in their position from a junior stew to a senior stew over the years, and you see the dynamic change in them.
Yeah. Captain, do you get to pick your interior and exterior and your engineers and everything? Do you get to pick them, or is that something you work in with the owners, or how does that usually work for you?
To be honest, we do. As a captain, you do choose the crew 100%, but you want to make sure you cater the crew to what the client's needs are, whereas a vessel, it's the owner. So in different platforms I've operated, different vessels I've operated, is sometimes the crew is really an extension of what the owner is looking for, whether it's a very dive-heavy program or, like you're saying, Sarah, with a research-heavy program, then marine biologists on board that can or a photographer on board. So, and some owners are not interested in diving. They just want to go to St. Bart's, or they just want to go to, Europe and Monaco and sit at the beach. So then you've got a service-heavy orientated crew. So I don't like the word permanent crew. I like the word, and you create, and you have an extended crew. And depending on what the client is after, how do we achieve that goal? And same as the show. They have different guests that show up that are demanding different things.
Yeah. Have you had any below deck people work for you?
Yeah, we did did one of the chefs we had years ago, like 10 years, I think it was Ben, Chef Ben.
Okay, Chef Ben.
Yeah. So I've different exposures to it, and I nearly worked with Jason once. I was on a yacht, and he nearly came and took over the yacht we operated on. So it's a small industry, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I've worked with some great different people like Oriana and media, and I love it. I really think Below Decks has got its space in yachting, and I think more people should kind of really understand the crossover and where it works within our industry, because our industry is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's hard to kind of keep a track on it. But with Below Decks continuing, how many years now is Below Decks? Is it 12?
12 plus, yeah.
12 So between the last 12 years of yachting, you've seen boats go up to like 130 meters now. These things are like mini cruise ships.
Yes.
Then Below Decks will go, transition towards these bigger platforms, and the reality will come towards the bigger platforms. What do you kind of like about the show? Do you like the progression of crew? Do you like the guest interactions? What do you think is pretty cool? The water sports, the boys, the deck crew out there, the
I could kind of care less about the water sports. I don't know about you, Kelly, and like the slide, who cares? But I like when you have like the same crew that's the same like year to year, and like you can really see relationships develop. And I'm trying to think, like, on a typical charter, what do we like to see the most? Like a funny game night. I don't know.
That's always a good theme for a dinner, is always really good. Picky guests. I love the challenge. I love the challenge of that, because I know they're going to do it, and they're going to do it well, the crew. But what I like to see is like, how petty are these people? Like, are they going to be like, this was amazing? Or be like, there was a fleck of something in there. Like, I don't, so it's just, maybe that's just me being a brat, but I don't know.
And put back, or they complain about the food, or they say something, but the effort that the chef and the stews have gone to, and then you hear their story behind the scenes.
Yeah, and you just kind of
But that's the reality as well in yachting. You know, I'm here to breach that barrier. It's the same thing doesn't happen. These are very difficult clients, a lot of them. Well, they're not difficult. They demand a certain amount of standard, and that's fair. That's one.
Yeah, they're paying a lot of money.
Paying a lot of money to have an experience for a week, and there's perfection. There's nothing else but perfection. You know, we have this saying on the yacht I usually run, and I say, you know, it never rains on the rich because the crew hold the umbrella.
Yeah, that's so true.
The crew have to solve every single issue, and that's kind of the point of it. You know, we're there to protect the clients, to give them the best experience they can have.
Have you ever had a problem that has just been like, I can't believe we did that. We fixed it. Oh, what's like been your biggest one? Most
trips, there's always something. For me, probably the hardest one that comes to mind is probably underwater, where a client wants to see a certain thing or catch a certain fish.
No.
Specific demand. Like I was in Panama and the client wanted to see a monkey, you know, but they didn't want to engage too much in the experience of getting to the monkey.
Bring the monkey to me.
Yes.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Exactly. So that was my saying. One of the famous, I'm like, I want to see a monkey. I want to see a monkey. We had a helicopter on board. So we're like, let's try and look for some monkeys. And well, so the amount of time I invested in seeing this monkey from the back deck of the yacht as she was having breakfast was just like hours and days and planning and figuring out where the monkey was and the tree the monkeys are in and speaking to the locals. And then I get it. It's in Panama on the beach on a canal just north of the Panama Canal. On the Atlantic side, there's this little river. It's a hard river to get into navigation-wise. And so I'm in the river. And I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting for her to get up. And I can see the monkeys about have to drift the yacht back, you know, without scaring the monkey, you know?
Right.
But then you've got to walk out and everyone's engaged. The whole crew is engaged. Don't make noise. Not scare the monkeys, people. And then the boat drifts back, and then you walk over to the client and you say, good morning, ma'am, how are you? By the way, there's your monkey, you know, and here's your binoculars. And it gives me goosebumps today.
That is so cool.
But that's yachting. That's what we do it for. And that's what drives these crew and these captains is to give these experiences that are not real. Like, it's not real. You can't have your coffee monkey in a Panama. Like, it's not an easy thing to accomplish.
Have you ever had to tell somebody no?
What's that?
Have you ever had to tell someone no for something that they wanted?
Yeah, crew.
Yeah.
No, crew and guests. You know, it's a big thing in yachting. You know, are we yes people? Are we no people? I think this comes down to one of my next questions about leadership as a captain and what that means to say no. My advice, and that's the way I look at things, is, you know, my grandfather once blessed me with good words saying, in my opinion. And that claim that kind of goes, look, I'm not saying no. I'm just telling you, in my opinion, stepping on an iceberg off a glacier in Alaska is not the best decision for your health and safety. But if you
like that.
But a lot of times they want to do it. So we have to take these steps, and we just... The best advice is not to say no, is saying, well, these are the next steps we need to take. Let's try and look for a suitable iceberg that's grounded, so it's not going to tip over. And then the captain's like, good idea, Cap. I'm like, I've got you, but let's just not just jump into any iceberg we see and dance on caviar and champagne. So that's where the no comes in. It's not, no, we can't do this. It's, in my opinion, let's try and find a more suitable solution to get you that result safely. Because
I like that.
As a captain, the number one thing that I'm employed to do is, you know, keep everyone on board safe.
Yeah.
Above that, for me personally, it's protect the marine environment, which is, as Sarah understands, and yourself as well, Kelly, it's a world that I'm so passionate about. And I think people can see manta rays and they can see sharks that will love them. And if they see these turtles and see these clownfish or sea snakes, that fear of it is part of the excitement. And then, you know, you feed a bull shark and you're like, oh, it's not killing me, but I'm not going to do that again.
Right.
But you've met and worked alongside kind of, captains, and we talked about Captain Jason, Captain Kelli and Sandy and all these great captains in the industry. What do you look for in terms of leadership, and why are they such great leaders?
You want to go ahead, Sarah?
Sure. So, well, something that's always said about Captain Carey in particular, and I think it's really true of all of them, is they're firm but fair. And Captain Sandy, something I really respect about her is she really takes people under her wing. She sees something in people, like maybe they're a very green deckhand, but she's going to give them a chance to like come up to the bridge, to like drive the boat for a minute. And Malia, for example, from Below Deck Med, she was someone that came in very green, and Sandy gave her a chance and like just gave her a little glimmer of what your future could be if you stick it out in this industry, and just telling people, I believe in you, and like I'm going to give you a second chance, or maybe a third chance. I think all of the captains are super inspirational and great leaders in different ways.
Yeah. I think what I like too about all of them is they understand that all of the crew are human, and that there will be times where they just start to crumble and break down, where like the stress or whatever starts to get to them, and they recognize that, and they encourage their crew to say, hey, if something's not feeling right, tell me, and we'll work through it together. And instead of just saying, suck it up and get out there, so, which I think is kind of, I appreciate that, because it's a new generation, I think, of leadership style. And, I think, we've been in situations where we've had guests on and they're like, I'm just having a really rough day. Before we even get started, we're like, hey, if you don't want to do this, it's, we will do whatever makes you comfortable. And I just think that kind of allows for conversations to continue happening, but it shows them that it's okay to be firm but fair. So
yeah. And also the captains have come up, they started out washing boats, they started out as a deckhand, so like they've been through it all, and they've like earned their stripes, and so like they've been there, they understand. And I like the focus on mental health too. That's really important.
Well, it's big in the industry, and I'm doing this Check-In Tuesday now, which is a live thing on Instagram, which I've just picked up, and I don't know why I'm doing it, but it's like I've had people reach out having struggles in the industry and have nowhere really to go to, and I'm like, let's try and remind each other that once a week at least, put a hard, firm check-in with the people around you to make sure that, or how can you help, and it may just be time. You may need to allocate time for people, and that's in yachting. We don't, unfortunately, it sounds very ignorant, but we don't have a lot of it, because you see the hours these crew are working from 6 they're up. You see the live in their bed, they're up, and they walk outside, they put the uniform on, and then they go to work.
Yeah, they don't have a commute to where they can like get into the zone of being, I do that every morning. I drive to work. I have, that's the 30 minutes where I turn into work Kelly. And then on the drive home, it's 30 minutes to turn into mom Kelly. So, it's, but they don't have that. They have 30 seconds, if that. And they're, as soon as they're seen, they're on. So that's hard.
Yeah, it is. And that's the other thing, as a captain too, like, I was just speaking to someone recently in the Super Yacht Alliance, actually, and a lot of these leadership groups and yachtings and think tanks that I'm a part of. But, as a captain, there's no real where to reach out, because you deal with owners, brokers, guests, clients, crew, and you're just stuck in the middle in this world. So that's where a lot of now wellness and mental health and activities like yoga, and I see Captain Jason looking after himself in terms of his diet, and that's half the key to your success, is if you can focus on your own personal wellness and mental health, whether it's therapy or I'm starting this yoga and breathwork journey at the moment, the last year, and it's difficult, it's hard, but I'm like,
wow,
it's also clearing your mind to prepare, because half the challenge of going season after season, whether it's the show or not, is how do you be better?
Yeah.
How do you be better?
Yeah.
And you're looking for it. Everyone's looking for it. Everyone's looking for the same crew to come back, but they're also looking to be a little bit more engaging, or a little bit more, passionate, or, a little bit more interactive. So how do you be better? You have to focus on oneself, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Got to look out for number one.
So what type of trends do you see in the kind of below decks that you might see in, you know, yachting per se? Like, do you see the guests coming differently into more wellness activities, or because I haven't seen that yet too much on many shows?
No, I don't see that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, below deck is different, obviously, because they're picking cast, both the crew cast and the guest cast. You know, they're looking for people that make good TV. So I doubt they're going to pick someone that's like just going to be into yoga. I do feel like in the last few years, the crew is a lot more into like meditation and yoga and like taking time for themselves. Like you see that a lot, like with the guys and the girls. So.
Well, you've got to keep in great shape as well. I mean, they're wonderful human beings. So how do people get involved in below decks? I mean, I see it from my end of yachting, but I don't know if the audience understand it. Like I see a lot of posts and a lot of emails I get, and I've had several invitations to join. Yeah. It's just like, how do how do people get into it?
Sure. Well, Diana Wallace Casting, I think, is the main like casting company, and so I see it every few months. It seems like there's another post like looking for, and it's every position. It's chef, deckhand, stews, like they're always looking for everybody. And then I think they have their producer scouts looking through social media and looking for people that way. But I think you just have to apply and get your STCW. I mean, and you're off.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, and what's your advice for people? You are correct. To get into the industry, it's just an SCCW, which is a course, an ENG1, which is a medical, and then back which part of the industry you're interested in, whether it's interior or deck or engineering. That's the career to get into yachting. It's quite simple, and then it escalates with sea time and different requirements. Right. But what's your advice, Kelli, for people looking at getting into yachting, whether it's below decks or not? Because I think it's a great industry. I'm passionate.
I do too, and I think, if you're going to do it, be true to yourself. When you're, don't put out a demo tape of you acting all posh and and whatever. Be you. That's the only thing that know going in knowing that you're going to be busting your butt, and they get maybe an 8-hour break total at night. And that includes like your wind down and getting up. So if you like to bed rot and watch your Instagram like reels like I do for, just know that you're not going to get as much sleep as you normally would. So, but just it's a lot of work, and know that it can be fun, but you have to, bust your hump for it. So
the fun side of it is fun. I mean, they game,
like, I get to see the world.
It's an awesome, you end up in places like St. Bart's or St. Martin or in these unique places in the world that it's just like and I don't know, that's where the parties are, I guess. Over my 25 years, I've seen some, I've been to all these places, and I'm like, it's stunning, and you wouldn't go there normally.
Yeah, right. We never knew, like, it was never a job option when we were in school or
no, I didn't even
whatever
know about this until the show.
No, so knowing that it's an opportunity that you can do, and you can either do it for a little bit or do it for your life, is just awesome to me. And you get to see the world, and how cool is that?
Yeah, look, it's strange. In yachting, a lot of the crew kind of are South African. A lot of the crew that we get in the yachting, they're probably about 60%, I'd say. But I always question, I'm like, why aren't we getting more and more Americans or Canadians?
Right.
Or it's just, I don't know, maybe, but I think Below Decks is changing that, and they can now see it, because a lot of courses that I attend, I see more and more Americans each time.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. That's cool. I was thinking about that the other day, that the earlier days of Below Deck, the show had more Americans on it.
Yeah, probably because it was an American show, right? So they were probably recruiting like in Florida.
From there. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite location? Or series? So you got Below Decks Down Under, you got Below Deck.
I like the first 2 seasons of Down Under, just because there was so much scuba diving, and like seeing the underwater stuff I thought was really cool.
I really liked when Below Deck OG went, didn't they go to Thailand? Like they went way out in the Pacific, and it was stunning because it was like places you only see in pictures. So it was just someplace different. But right now they seem to be hanging out in the Caribbean and in the Med. So, which I mean, I'm not going to complain. It's all absolutely stunning, and I'm living vicariously through them all. So,
Oh, exactly. And what about new locations? Like I know they looked at Below Decks Alaska once. I'm currently up there on Unbridled.
Ooh, that would be cool. Alaska would be really cool.
it would be
Awesome.
neat.
Yeah, I love it. I loved Below Deck Adventure in Norway. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was really neat. I like that because not all of us are fans of the hot weather.
Right.
Well, and it's quite similar. You see a lot of the hot weather, and you see a lot of, and you get the slides out. Okay, the water sports. Okay, the beach setup. Yeah, what's different about places like Alaska is one, it's got more daylight.
Yeah.
Really interesting, and it's a temperate rainforest, so it's so green. And then the wildlife, whether it's the seals that you can get like between 10, 20 feet away from these colonies of seals that are out engaging with you. They're playing, they're swimming with the little rescue tender, or you go little seal pups like glaciers, the killer whales, the whales. The fishing's incredible. So I'm kind of hoping there'll be a Below Decks Alaska coming up in the future.
Oh yeah, let's go ahead and put that out in the world. Like, I think that would be so cool. It'd be so different.
Well, the other thing, it involves remote cruising, and remote cruising can put so many unique stresses on crew and guests.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
you get your provisions, like
exactly. When you have to get
fresh fruit and veggies,
a certain type of water or a certain type of champagne that you cannot get in Alaska because of the state laws of liquor licenses. So there's Alaska's really unique, and they protect it. And there's things like you cannot fish for halibut with a commercial license on a Tuesday. But you explain to a guest, and then when you catch a halibut, you can only keep the whole halibut, but you can only fillet one side and give that fillet to the guest, and the other one has to be saved. The chassis of the fillet has to be saved for the inspectors. There's all these rules.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
But the one thing that happens is when I'm explaining to a client, when they wake up and they say, okay, Captain, we'd love to catch a halibut. And you're like, it's Tuesday. I said,
in my opinion.
My opinion, my humble opinion, let's go for another species. Or, you know, that's where I think Alaska will get really exciting for Below Decks, is because there's something. And then you got the helicopters, you got the glaciers, you got the whales. You've got the local indigenous people there, which are just beautiful. And they really love kind of showing off their indigenous, traditions to people, whether it's salmon fishing or salmon candy, things like that. So,
what about Hawaii? Does Hawaii have a big super yacht industry?
Not really, because of the water conditions in terms of the swell.
Okay.
Not naturally big sheltered bays. So the idea of leaving, a bay and going for a cruise anchor or an overnight, and that's kind of what, once again, back to Alaska or the northern areas, it's all sheltered waters. It's all calm. It's all dead flat. So it's all inside the inside passage.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Interesting.
I'd love to see something like in the Patagonia area too, like South America stuff. Yeah, that would be kind of
cool. That'd be really cool.
Yours. So hopefully there's some more exciting seasons coming up.
Yeah, let's hope. People always pitch Charleston, but I don't think it would have enough to be that interesting. There's not really. I mean, there's a few little islands you could go to, but and the city's great.
It's still I think that visual aspect of places like Charleston, and that's what's good about Below Decks, is you see the change in water quality and the clarity and the beaches, and I love Martha's Vineyard, Montauk, New York, Boston, Bar Harbor in Maine. I think all these places should have a Below Decks personally. I think.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that.
Statue of Liberty as they're having lunch and arguing about the lobster. So,
that would be cool.
A quick funny story though, in yachting, one time I had this chef and he had these lobsters from Maine, and he came running up to the bridge and he's like, Captain, I've lost the lobsters. And I'm like, how do you lose a lobster? And he had the whole crew looking for these, because he had to serve lobsters for lunch. And he had the whole crew of lobsters. But the lobsters, he put them in a tray at the back of the fridge, and the tray fell down and it kind of hit the back of the fridge. You couldn't see the lobsters. And it was the funniest, like a skit. on TV. It was like, honestly, on below deck, and then all the crew are looking at it. We finally found it, but to see all the crew running around going, "We've lost the lobster. We've lost the lobster. How did the lobster crawl away?" You know,
Right. They've escaped.
There were live lobsters too, so it kind of the whole narrative.
Oh, that's really funny.
Too funny.
Tell me about the podcast. Kind of what type of guests do you have on board? Where are you going with it? What do you see in the future? 2026 coming up.
You want to take this, Kelli?
Well, guests we have coming up, we've been very lucky this year with the guests that we've had on the show, and we can only hope to continue on. We've had a lot of the crew from the current season of Below Deck Med on, and we're very excited to keep that going. So more interviews, more socials, more. I think it'll be more. And when we started this, we were just going to see what happens. And we were talking about this the other day. We didn't really plan on being an interview type show, but people were like, "Hey, we want to talk." And we're like, "Okay." And then it just kind of turned into a thing. So, so I think that's.
Yeah, we started out having a lot of charter guests, and then eventually Bravo would reach out and say, "Hey, we have so-and-so if you want to talk to them on Monday at 10 a.m. or whatever."
Yeah.
And this season of Med, I think we're now up to like 5 crew members we've had on, which has been really exciting. We're going to be talking to Kathy, the Stew Kathy, here coming up in a couple weeks. So that's exciting. I don't know. We just kind of go with the flow and whatever, whatever comes our way. But, I would love to get on some like producers or like some behind the scenes type people and like hear about, I don't know, the editing or just like kind of more behind the scenes. I don't know if they want to divulge any of those details, but I think that stuff is super interesting. Or talking to the casting director, I think that would be really fun. And 2026, there's not going to be a BravoCon. So I don't know if we will maybe go to a boating show. We've been to Flibs, but I'm open to going to some other boat shows. I think that would be cool.
They'll still be cheaper than BravoCon.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Captain, I think you're frozen. Oh wait, maybe not. Yep, you're frozen.
I don't know why. I think things happen for him. And when you were saying that about the boat, I envisaged like a same thing at Fort Lauderdale, an area at Fort Lauderdale boat show, like where we could do below deck, like having an interview room and talk about the industry, engage more.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Besides Fort Lauderdale, what other boat show would you recommend?
Can you hear me?
It's glitching a little bit. We can hear you.
I think West Palm Beach is good.
West Palm Beach. Okay.
New show is a little bit smaller, open to the public. So I'd say Miami's a good starting point in February, March. I'm coming and I'll be there too. So that's it. But the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, I think that's one of the best.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was so big.
It was so big. It was cool.
Yeah. Loved it.
Yeah, it is. Maybe next year we have a little booth for you and then people can come and ask questions or do interviews.
That'd be so fun. We could do interviews. That would be really fun. Yeah.
I love it.
All right, I'll leave it with you. It's just glitching a little bit, but I really appreciate your time. Very grateful for it. It's wonderful to get a bit of a backstory to yourselves because I think that's the exciting thing about Above Deck is kind of the two of you and your background story. You know, whether it's researching underwater passion or yourself, Kelli, from technical aspects, I think what you produce is it's awesome, and I just want to see more of it.
Well, thank you so much. This was really fun. And I think you're one of the first kind of people from the actual yachting industry to reach out to us. So we never quite know how those people feel about us. Like, oh, they just watch a TV show and talk about it. But we really have learned so much about the industry, and it's fascinating. And your jobs are just so cool.
Yeah, well, I love what we do, and it's all part of the one industry, and that's what I want people to understand.
Yeah,
It's all boats. It's little boats, like you're saying about the trailer going down in Key West, launching it all the way up to huge cruise. All about people who love kind of experiencing new things.
That's awesome.
so cool. Well, I'm excited to dive more into your YouTube channel and like watch some of your interviews and learn more about Unbridled.
Well, watch the whales. There's great pictures of whales too, and there's different projects on board we do, but you'll see the Unbridled in Alaska with the whales jumping, and that's what I'm kind of looking forward to getting back into the season.
I love it.
And how can people get a hold?
Oh, sure. So our main social is Instagram at Above Deck Pod. And then you can search for Above Deck on any of the podcast platforms. We're part of Hurrdat Media, so that's where our YouTube videos are. And I'm a little bit into Threads and Twitter, but not really. Mainly Instagram.
Well, even TikTok. I've got 2 children at 16 and 14, and they're trying to get me into TikTok. I'm like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. It's too fast. But I do have an account. And my kids are helping me with it. So.
Okay.
Oh, good.
You're going to be doing like TikTok dances before we know it.
Well, maybe I want to do without seeing it on camera anyway. So you never know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate your time. Be safe, be blessed, and have a wonderful festive season.